Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to our monthly meeting of the Cobb County Board of Zoning Appeals. And as is our custom at this time, I'm going to introduce Officer Brown. If Officer Brown would come forward. Ladies and gentlemen, will you please stand? Officer Brown is going to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Officer Brown. Ladies and gentlemen, those of you that are here for the first time, let me give you a little insight on how we're going to conduct the meeting. The first thing that we will go over is the consent agenda. These are applications not only this board has reviewed, but our professional, our engineering staff, and our zoning staff has reviewed them. To our knowledge, there's no known opposition to any of these particular cases. So as we go forward, Mr. John Peterson, our head zoning administrator, will read each one of these into the record. As he does, the applicant, he or she, will identify themselves as their name is called by raising their hand. Likewise, if there's anybody here in opposition to any of these particular cases, if they would raise their hand, and we'll recognize them as being in opposition. And if we have opposition, we will pull that particular case and hear it in its regular numeric order. Once we complete that, we'll go into our regular business. At this time, we only have one case on our regular agenda. Again, the procedure will remain the same. Mr. Peterson will read them to the record. The applicant, he or she, will identify themselves, and then we will proceed. Our officer today is Miss Margie. As you're called to testify, Margie will call you forward. You will be sworn in. All testimony will be given to the podium to my right. The applicant at that time will have approximately 10 minutes to make their presentation to this board. Likewise, and collectively, those in opposition will also have a 10-minute period to make their opposition known to this board. So be cognizant of the fact that if you're the applicant or the opposition, you only have a 10-minute period. With that said, I'm going to ask Mr. Peterson if he has any special announcements to make.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I do have one announcement before we begin the hearing. I would like to ask the people in today's audience, if you have a cell phone, please turn the volume off on your phones. If the phones ring, they do interfere with the broadcast and presentations. And with that, Mr. Chairman, I'm ready to start the consent agenda.
Let's go right to it.
Cobb County Board of Zoning Appeals variance hearing consent agenda for March 11, 2020. Variance case V26, Nehemias Arazo requests a variance to number 1, reduce the side setback for an accessory structure under 650 square feet for a 408 square foot outbuilding to require 10 feet to 2 feet, which is existing. Number 2, reduce the rear setback for an accessory structure under 650 square feet for a 408 square foot outbuilding from required 35 feet to 7 feet, and that is an existing condition. In land lot 158 of the 17th district. The property is located on the south side of Zelma Street, west of Sandtown Road. Staff recommends approval, subject to the following conditions. Number 1, development inspections comments. Number 2, no commercial or residential use of the accessory building. And number 3, no water connection to the accessory building. Is the applicant present? Is the applicant here for V26, Nehemias Arazo? No? Is there anyone here opposed to that case?
All right, as is our custom, Madam Secretary, if you would try to make a call. It's going to be very difficult to make a call, get them here, but hopefully they're on their way. But let's go ahead and try to call them. If they can be here today before the end of our business,
Okay.
we'll deal with them.
All right. So we'll put that on hold right now.
We'll put it on hold. John, let's go to the next one.
Yes, sir. Variance case V28, Art Steinis requests a variance to 1, allow an accessory structure and approximately 220 square foot garage to be to the front of the principal building, which is existing. Number 2, reduce the side setback for an accessory structure under 650 square feet for an approximately 224 square foot garage from required 12 feet to 9 feet. adjacent to the southeast property line, which is existing. And number three, reduce the front setback for an accessory structure under 650 square feet for the approximately 224 square foot garage from required 45 feet, 23 feet, which is existing. In land lot 275 of the 20th district. The property is located on the east side of Ackworth US Road, north of Stone Lakes Drive. Staff recommends approval, subject to the following stipulations. Number one, traffic comments, and number two, no new private structures, fences, or landscaping to be installed within 50 feet of the center line of Ackworth US Road. Is the applicant present? Let the record show the applicant is here. Is there anyone here opposed to variance case V28? Let the record show there's no one opposed. Variance case V29, Borzu Tahiri requests a variance to reduce the front setback required 75 feet to 62 feet, which is existing, in land lot 962 and 965 of the 17th district. The property is located on the south side of South Atlanta Road, north of Elizabeth Lane. Staff recommends approval, subject to the following conditions. Number one, any future gate to be set back a minimum of 35 feet from the right-of-way and meet Cobb County development standards. Is the applicant present? Let the record show the applicant is here. Is there anyone here opposed to variance case of V29? Let the record show there's no one opposed. Variance case V30, Fan T. Ward, requests a variance to, number one, reduce the rear setback from 30 feet to 29 feet, which is existing. Number two, allow an accessory structure, an approximately 192 square foot shed to be to the side of the principal building, which is existing. And number three, reduce the side setback for an accessory structure for an approximately 192 square foot shed, required 10 feet to 8 feet adjacent to the west property line, which is existing, in land lot 816 of the 16th district. The property is located on the south side of Holly Creek Drive, east of Holly Springs Road. Staff recommends approval. Is the applicant present? Let the record show the applicant is here. Is there anyone here opposed to variance case V30? Let the record show there's no one opposed. Variance case V31, Carter's, request a variance to increase the maximum allowable sign area for required 49 square feet to 73 square feet in land lots 947, 948, 979, and 980 of the 17th district. The property is located on the north side of Highway 41, east of Acres Mill Road. Staff recommends approval, subject to the following stipulations for the Carter sign only. Is the applicant present? Let the record show the applicant is here. Is there anyone here opposed to variance case V31? Let the record show there's no one opposed. Variance case of V32, Croy Engineering LLC requests a variance to allow an accessory structure and approximately 1,243 square foot proposed one-story building to be to the front of the principal building in land lots 956, 957, 970, and 971 of the 17th district. The property is located on the south side of Woodland Brook Drive, north of Farmington Drive. Staff recommends approval, subject to the fire department comments. Is the applicant present? Let the record show the applicant is here. Is there anyone here opposed to variance case V32? Let the record show there's no one opposed, and that completes the consent agenda. Board, Mr. Chairman,
Okay,
board.
it's back to this board for comments, questions, or discussions. Start off with Mr. Galt-Porter.
I think my case is the one that
Oh.
we're having to hold, so I don't have
Okay,
comments
there's
yet.
no comment there. Any other comments? Not hearing any, I'll entertain a motion.
I make a motion, we approve the consent agenda with the exception of V26, who is not present.
I have a motion, do I have a second? Second. Motion second, call for the vote. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to approve that consent agenda with a 5-0 vote. So those of you that were here and you were on the consent agenda, your business is complete with us for today. You're welcome to stay, but if you leave, please walk out quietly and we'll continue on. Thank you and have a great day. Okay, cheers and comments, and everybody's happy. I like John. I like when people are happy.
Me too.
All right, John, tell me where I am now.
Yes, sir. Variance case of B27, Matthew Johnson requests a variance to one, reduce the required setback for an accessory structure over 1,000 square feet for approximately 1,180 square foot barn, for required 100 feet to 62 feet adjacent to the western property line and 5 feet from the rear property line, which is existing. And number 2, allow parking and/or maneuvering on a non-hardened or treated surface for an existing gravel driveway in land lots 738 and 739 of the 16th district. The property is located on the south side of Twin Branch Drive, east of Arrowhead Trail. Is the applicant present? Let the record show the applicant is here. Is there anyone here opposed to variance case V27? Let the record show there's one person opposed. All those wishing to address the board, please come forward to be sworn in.
Those of you who are going to give testimony, come forward, and Miss Margie will get you sworn in. Okay, we'll hear from the applicant at this time. Sir, come forward. Now, if you would, for the purpose of the record, please give your name first.
Afternoon. My name is Matthew Johnson. For purposes of the record, the accessory structure is actually under 600 square feet. So I'm not sure.
Okay, well, make your
How that-
presentation and we'll get to that.
Yes, sir, absolutely. Purchased the residence about 5 years ago, and the accessory structure is about a 400, excuse me, about a 480 square foot structure. It is unconditioned, unfinished. It does have power running to it. There is a gravel driveway that was put in leading from the street towards the rear of the property and also for access to the accessory structure. The issue at hand is on the setback, the rear setback of the structure. As far as that goes, there are several trees, and then the level of the lot to the left, that the trees would have had to come down or some grading done on that lot to be able to put the accessory structure there. There is also a condition of the gravel in regards to a non-hard treated surface, and I've been made aware of that. I was not aware of that code. I have a couple of trailers that are in my name that I do keep back there. I've gotten some quotes to pave that entire area, which is very expensive. But it also just, the gravel kind of lends itself more to the keeping of the landscape in terms of just creating a lot of concrete area with additional runoff, water runoff. So that's the reason for the variance on that.
All right, you have 10 minutes to tell us everything you want to tell us.
Okay. I do have a business. I am a business owner, and the property address is the address for the business. I do have one business vehicle. That is my personal vehicle that I drive that I keep at the property. The building right now is storage. Again, I said it's unfinished. I'm a woodworker by hobby. I do have some tools in there that I use, some wood that I use as well. But I do not have employees. I do not have company operations, if you will, on the property. My personal vehicle comes and goes. I do have another vehicle in the company that I do drive on occasion. It's a white truck, and so there have been periodic times where that vehicle has been on the property, but it is not parked on the property at all. So I think for me, the accessory structure being into the rear setback, I'm happy to do whatever I need to in regards to that. The gravel, I think that's just more of a in keeping with the natural layout of the land, and then obviously the expense is one thing, but then also the runoff to my neighbor on the left, I think could be considerable depending on how that concrete is poured and which slope it is. So there'd be a lot more sheer volume of water running off of that amount of concrete. So those are kind of some history, some background. Again, the accessory structure is under 600 square feet. The only thing I can think of is if the survey that I presented was not printed to scale, the scale may have been off, and therefore on your details, it shows a little over 1,000. So I think that's all I have at the moment.
Okay, you still have some, do you live on the property?
Yes, sir. It's my
Okay.
primary residence.
Anything else you want to tell us about the property?
No, I don't think so.
You want to tell us about the business? Give us a little idea. You mentioned you
Oh,
have.
yes,
business.
absolutely. So it is a remodeling business. I do have employees, but the operation of that business takes place at job sites. My employees do not come to the property and then go to job sites. They all go to their individual job sites. I have been in business for about 12 years. Again, we moved here about 5 years ago.
Anything else, Mr. Johnson?
No, sir, I think that's it.
All right, if you would, just have a seat. At this
Yes.
time, we'll hear from the
All right,
opposition.
thank you.
Thank you. All right, ma'am, before you get started, give us your name, please, first.
I'm Brenda Scott,
Okay, Ms. Scott, go right ahead.
and I live at 1831 Kenridge.
And where is that? Is that next door, or is that?
That
If
is,
you look on the screen, can you tell us where you live there?
Just describe it. Say it. That's right.
Big screen.
I am south of his property.
Okay. Is the swimming pool in your, is the swimming?
Yes, we have the pool.
Okay, then we can
We're
see it on the
directly south.
screen.
Pardon?
You can see it on the screen.
Yes, yes,
Okay, go right ahead. Now we know where you are. Go ahead, ma'am.
all right. Our property is south. I'm Brenda Scott, and I reside near the center of the residence, two adjoining lots, along with my son and my daughter-in-law, Mary and Mark Scott. The violations listed on V27 affect the very fabric of our daily lives. The applicants have constructed just 5 feet from our common property line. The description was 1,180 feet. We measured the length of the canopy and office building, and it is 50 feet. This houses the commercial business of Artisans of Atlanta. It's a trailer park and storage for assorted remodeling equipment such as Bobcat, concrete mixer, generator, piles of various stones, remodeling and building material, which were present when the V27 signage was placed on the property, and assuredly will gradually return tucked away behind the commercial office building. Unlike 99.9% of R20 homeowners, applicant didn't have to rent a Bobcat to create a gravel driveway. It was already parked in his yard. Troubling are the applicant's commercial building within 5 feet of the property line, the gravel drive, and violations of Cobb County Home Business Code. Particularly, no signs, products, or equipment are permitted around the exterior of the home. No outside employees are permitted to work in the home or to gather in the home for work purposes. Why should we be made aware of the arrival and departure of Artisan of Atlanta employees reporting to work in their AOA business office, trailer park, or storage area? When using a weed eater near our common property line, why should our privacy be invaded by the arrival of their employees entering business office with less than 10 feet of our property line and where I was working? and parking a trailer less than 25 feet from where I was working. This happened just this past Friday and Monday. Perhaps, I don't know why the young lady was going into this building, if not other than an employee. The car is regularly seen there, weekly. Our aging cypress no longer provide a cover for this business office, trailer park, and commercial equipment. As homeowners most impacted, we request the enforcement of Cobb County R20 residential code and the denial of R27. Thank you.
Anything else you want to add to that, ma'am?
Yes,
Go right ahead. you got
according
time.
to the website, the website of Artisans of Atlanta, this is truly a commercial business operated within 5 feet of our property.
Anything else you'd like to say, ma'am?
That's it.
Okay. For the purpose of the record, is anybody here wishing to speak in opposition to case V27? Have you been sworn in, ma'am? Do you want to speak, ma'am, in opposition or in favor? Come forward. We'll give you time. We got 3 minutes left. Identify yourself. Give us your name, please, first.
My name is Janet Bryan.
Okay.
And I live across the street from Matt, directly across the street.
Okay.
There's my driveway. That's where that white,
Okay, we've got you.
there
Yes,
you
ma'am.
go. I have lived in that house for 26 years. And before Matt and Sherilyn bought, a couple came in. A woman had lived in that house since it was built in the 1960s. When she passed away, her family inherited that house and upgraded it. But before Matt and Sherilyn, and even when the original owner lived in that house, that property was bush hogged twice a year. I had an empty lot across from there with creatures, snakes, you name it. And it was an eyesore. And we had asked her numerous times that we would go and cut that. She was too afraid that somebody wanted to take that property away from her. And so she did not do it. It was an eyesore. And I know that everybody knows that. Being that I'm across the street, what's failed to mention is we have a creek, and it runs right along that gravel driveway across the street and all behind my house and heads all the way down Twin Branch. You put concrete in there, and I'm going to have water. That gravel, I have to agree with Matt. Aesthetically, when you look at that house now, it's beautiful. He has put in trees that in 3 years or probably you're not even going to see the house. There's a house directly
Ms.
next
Bryan,
to-
you've got 60 seconds, so you need to
okay.
sum up. Sum it up.
I just want you to know that I want to see it approved, and I see nothing that would cause it. There's several other businesses in the neighborhood, and I'd like to see it be done. So,
Okay,
thanks.
thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, we have run out of time, so it's back to this board for discussion. Miss Judy Williams represents the district, so at this time, I'm going to turn it over to Miss Williams.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I had the pleasure yesterday of going out and I walked the property, so I was on the property yesterday. I was on it a couple of weeks ago, too. If I could have Matt come back up here, please. Yesterday, when we were walking the property, and I was there, I'm not sure, in the middle of the day, I guess. I didn't see any employee cars there. I didn't see any employees, period, except the man who was fixing your washing machine
Yes.
came in. It appeared when I walked up to the structure that you have cleared out or cleaned out. And I think, John, maybe where the confusion is of the square footage, we might be counting the canopy parts of it.
We are.
Okay. That would be
Okay, that makes sense.
where you get that figure from, because you do have canopy on the side and in the back too.
Okay, that makes sense, yeah.
So what I saw when I was up there was a Bobcat covered, tractor covered, and I didn't see a cement mixer, but I could have missed it. I did see some rabbits though.
Yeah.
He's owned almost, he's owned almost 2 acres of land, so it's not like, sort of like a farm in a way. The gravel, we talked about the gravel driveway, and I have a picture of it. Did you bring in pictures?
I do have some, yes,
Okay, could you put them in, please?
yes.
I want you to look at the gravel. There is a stream that runs right beside of this piece of property. And in the grading, I don't think you got permits for it, but this is the extent, how wide it is up here in front. Now, I'll be honest, I think at the time he built this, he probably was for his employees, and then it got, I don't know, but maybe you did have employees come over there at some time. I think with a driveway that big, that you probably did at one point, but
Well, it's really just to access the building.
the building where you
Yeah.
park your truck.
Yeah.
Okay, so you can see how wide it goes out in the beginning, back here in the back. It's pretty wide. There is a creek here beside of it, and Dave would have to check. This is the part I'm talking about where the Bobcat's on the end down there on the thing, and then the tractor's behind there. But there's no, like, I didn't see any debris or anything
Yeah.
added. And it didn't look like the building was, the inside of it was finished. It didn't look like it was finished.
No, it's not.
It's not. So
There's a
you-
small portion on the left side that is I do use that particular 10 by 12 as a home office.
Oh, okay. All right, so then I walked on around and the rabbits are on the other side there. So the whole property is neat in the front, the back. And then we looked at the property that Miss Scott lives in, and they have a pool, I think, between. And we discussed the pool. Did the pool make any noise or anything? And the pool didn't bother you? I mean, you had no problem with them having a pool, so. I do think there are some issues that we need to address, and one of the issues would be how can we make the neighbor happy? Is there any kind of screening or anything like that that we could put up? She did want it denied, but I don't think tearing it down is the answer. I think that there are some ways that we could mitigate it, perhaps. So if you could have a seat, I'm gonna have Dave
Okay.
Braden come up in just a minute.
Okay.
And there was, excuse me, there was no permits. You built it without a permit also,
It
correct?
was built without a permit, yes.
Okay, and that was 5 years ago,
It was approximately 4.5.
4.5 years ago, okay. And the driveway was put in when?
About 4.
About 4
Between
years
4
ago?
and 4.5, yes.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am.
Dave Braden with Stormwater Management Division.
Dave, when I was out there, there's a running stream right beside of it when he did the grading.
Mhm.
And there's gravel in the stream, and is that something that you would need to look at, or is this?
If there's a concern, we may need to get Frank Gibson with the erosion control to take a look at it. But I don't think it doesn't show up, I don't believe it shows up on the county stream buffer map.
They had a
So-
lot of water in it. It was running water, but I mean, we've had a lot of rain, I know.
Yeah, we've had, we got saturated conditions, it's gonna be flowing for a while, but I don't believe it is a buffered stream. It does have a drainage easement on it, but I don't think it has,
You don't think it has the
I don't think
50-foot
it's a stream
buffer?
buffer on it, no.
Oh, good, okay, because that was one of my concerns was that he had, in the grading, he would have violated the buffer if there was a 50-foot buffer
Right.
on through there.
I
But
don't
you
think
think
so.
it's not? Okay, all right, thanks. Then the other concern is DOT about having the second driveway. I think I know the answer, but Amy, can you come up and give us the answer on this one? There is a paved driveway in the front of his house, and it's under car garage, and he does use it as parking, a vehicle in that garage, so.
Amy Diaz, DOT.
Amy, what is the position of the DOT on having two driveways in a residential property, one of them being gravel?
When it is on a local road, as this one is, and as long as you have 100 feet of frontage, you can qualify for a second driveway. So the second driveway in this location is fine. We would like to have it paved as per our comment, for up to close to the right-of-way line,
Okay, and so your recommendation would be an apron, pave an apron?
basically. It's a pave it 25 feet back or to the right-of-way line, whichever is further.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Mhm.
All right, now I'm gonna have Ms. Scott come up, please. Okay. In your presentation and looking at the property yesterday, it looks like he's cleared off some stuff since you took those pictures, and perhaps,
Yes, it was removed, but it was there when the signage was placed.
yeah, no, I don't doubt you. I just
Mhm.
think it's been cleaned off and he's cleaned it off.
Yes, but it will be returned, I can assure you.
You
It
think
has
so?
been there for years.
How long have you lived in the house?
I have owned and lived there since 67.
67, so
I
your
was
original,
absent for, come back for visits, but taking care of aged and sick relatives. But I've lived there for 67 years.
oh, okay. So do you live downstairs in the basement or do you live upstairs?
I have an apartment downstairs for me, myself.
Oh, okay.
Mhm.
So when the truck comes in, does it affect you? Do you see the light or do you hear the sound? What?
My daughter and son-in-law enjoy sleeping with their window open. And she hears Matt leave every morning going to work. Every time an employee drives over the gravel, we are made aware of their arrival and departure. And this, from Artisan of Atlanta, says they have several employees.
Yeah, I think they do. I think they have 5, if I remember correctly. They
Yes.
have 5. I didn't see them there. I don't know where they come there now, but they weren't there when, the times I've been there.
There's
they
a
haven't.
white truck that's a business associate, what I would assume. I took pictures of him being there Friday.
Okay. All right, so is there anything he could do that would make you happy? Is there anything besides taking the structure down?
I would appreciate not having an employee within 5 to 10 feet of myself when I'm working in the yard.
So,
I mean, I don't work at the fence all the time, don't get me wrong.
no, I
you know,
understand.
But, you know.
So no
you have to be-
employees, no business from there, we can do
Yeah,
that.
It's like enjoy a coffee sitting in the swing, and it's distracting to see a person that's unknown to you walking the edge of the fence going into the office.
One suggestion I have is perhaps holding it for 30 days and you getting with your neighbor and y'all come up with something that would make it agreeable for both of you, it's particularly you, because it seems like you're the most affected. Perhaps a
My
screening
family,
fence.
not just me.
Well, of course, your family, whoever lives in the house.
Mm.
A screening buffer in the back, perhaps a wooden solid fence back in the back. There's different things that we could do. Do you think that you could do that or would want to do that?
What Ms. Williams is asking, if we put a 30-day hold on this case to give you an opportunity to talk to your neighbor and he an opportunity to talk to you, and some of the suggestions is putting a fence across the back, putting some greeny shrubbery across the back. We could certainly talk about no employees. We could talk about hours of operation. There's a lot of things that can go back and forth if the two people are willing to talk. So I think that's what Ms. Williams is asking you
I actually
Your
thought that's what I
willingness
asked you.
to discuss.
Can y'all have communication between the two of you?
Yes, it is possible, certainly.
Okay, good. Then what I'm gonna do is make a recommendation in just a minute that we hold it, y'all get together and come up with something that would make both of you happy. Something, he's gonna have to agree, he can't have a business from there anyway. We discussed it yesterday. He knows he cannot have employees coming there. He knows he can't have a business, so.
Okay, with that condition,
Okay, good. All
I
right, thank
would be
you.
glad to agree with that. I was not aware that you had any type of conversation concerning the business.
Okay, I did. I did. We did talk about, it's very evident that the driveway is pretty large, so we can have a discussion. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, having said all that and talked, I think I would like to make a motion that we hold this for 30 days with the applicant and Ms. Scott to get together and come up with a plan that would be agreeable to both of them, with the understanding that he does not have any business or employees coming to that tract of land.
Got a motion?
That would be my motion.
Got a motion, do I have a second? A second, Brian, for discussion. Any comments? Go.
Yeah, my one comment is that I think it may be good to have Frank Gibson go out there and look at this too with that stream and.
Yeah,
and
I think Doug's gonna
runoff
tell
and
him,
Okay,
that.
any other comments?
yeah, okay,
Frank,
Okay.
Frank can still look at it.
okay.
Frank's a miracle worker. He does a great job for the county. He really does. Okay, any other comments? Not hearing any, call for the vote. Okay, we're gonna approve that 5-0. We're gonna put this case on hold for 30 days until our next scheduled meeting. We're charging you to make sure that the applicant and the lady in opposition, Ms. Scott, that you two folks get together, discuss everything, and come back with a little bit of an agreement that we can work with on next meeting, okay? Thank you. John, where am I?
We have the one case that didn't show up for consent agenda, and I don't believe he has shown up.
Go, I think that because we had it in our work session, we had discussion on this particular case, that we were going to have to institute some, or our thought was to institute some other things, that maybe we ought to just continue this case, give the applicant an opportunity to be here. So
I agree
You go
with
ahead.
that, so I'll make a motion that we continue B26 till our April hearing.
Second,
I got a motion, got a second. That's easy. Let's call for the vote. And we're going to continue that case until our next scheduled meeting. John, where am I?
That's it.
That's it. God bless. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, before we leave, I need a motion on our February the 12th meeting and our March the 9th meetings.
move that they be approved.
Okay, got a motion? Second, Brian, call for the vote. Well, that's it. That's 5-0. Ladies and gentlemen, that's it. The next big holiday is St. Patty's Day, so y'all be careful, be safe. And corned beef and cabbage is a delightful, delightful thing to have. And with that said, Cornelius, we're finished.